Welcome to Distance Learning, Week 1 Social Studies Lessons module for online learning at home. Why is there a need for distance learning courses? Well, teachers have to be prepared for the unexpected. COVID-19 quarantine made educators realize that there's a need for students to be able to take e-learning courses from home. Educators across the nation are now looking into creating distance learning courses for students of all grade levels. So I'm going to present to you my distance learning course that I created for Week 1 Social Studies for online learning at home. Welcome to Distance Learning, Week 1 of Social Studies. Welcome to Week 1 of your distance learning course. I will post your weekly lessons in Canvas under assignments in each course subject. You will have to click on each of our course subjects to get your assignments for the week. Please don't hesitate to email or have your parents class dojo me if you have any questions. I know you are all amazing students and will give your best effort when completing these lessons. Have fun and enjoy your learning. A brief introduction from the teacher or the educator will introduce the module. This week in Social Studies, we are learning about the Texas cattle industry and how cattle ranching provided economic opportunities to Texans. Stating out clear overviews and objectives are necessary for students to understand what they will be learning that week. I also included a video with tips for learning at home. With all of the struggles that I saw students face with having to go totally online learning from a flipped classroom where they were doing lessons in class with the teacher and then some lessons on the computer, providing them with a quick tips for learning video was a necessity for this module.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So it goes without saying that we are in the midst of some pretty scary and uncertain times with this whole coronavirus pandemic that is sweeping the nation, especially in the field of education. This has caused schools to shut down nationwide without any exact return date. So it's putting a lot of pressure on parents and caregivers to kind of monitor their child's education from here.
So this video is provided not just for students but also for parents to address issues of frustration and confusion that can occur when you're totally learning at home. Relax. Don't stress. We encourage you to complete as many activities as possible. However, it is not necessary to complete every page. Work at your own pace and enjoy learning as a family. Providing multiple resources for students, not just oral read-alouds, but videos and documents, is very important to address all of the differentiated learning that you have in one classroom. However, students needed to understand that they did not have to go through every resource. They were just provided as ways to introduce the content to them. As soon as they were confident in the content and that it was learned correctly, then they could move on to their assessment. Summary of Week 1. So I provided a slide for them explaining all of the vocabulary that they would be using, words they needed to review, and also the objectives. After you've completed this week's module, you will be able to identify and define key vocabulary terms, explain geographic features that influence the cattle industry, describe ways people adapted to and modified the Texas environment, summarize the contributions made to the Texas cattle industry. Then the tutorial video resources are next. The first video is an oral read aloud of the chapter that they are reading for that week.
Hello scholars. Today we are learning about the cattle industry in Texas. So before we get started, you should...
And then another video, which is a fun video talking about cowboy life.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I trust you.
Yeah, just cover your eyes.
So it's just a way to provide some extra fun resources for the students. In the first video, the educator talks about a document where they will take notes over the reading. That document is provided in Canvas for the students in Google Docs so that they can access that document, download it, and utilize it as they're listening to the oral read aloud. Then the next slide has some extra information, and it's a virtual reality slide where students are required to click on all the hotspots to gather the information. They'll click on the hotspot, read the information, exit out of it, and it'll give them a little check showing that they got through the hotspot. I went ahead and put it in the settings that students have to go through a guided tour, which means that if they do not hit one of the hotspots, it will not let them move on until they've hit all of the hotspots. And then the last hotspot is a quick true-false knowledge check over the information they just read on that virtual reality slide. They will answer the question. If it's incorrect, it will not let them move on and will make them try again. Of course, there's only one of two answers. And then once they get it correct, it lets them move on to the next knowledge check. This is a drag and drop where they will just simply drag the word to the correct information. If they do not get it correct, a yellow highlighted text will come up and say, please try again. If they get it correct, they submit it and it'll move them on to another knowledge check. And this one, this is information from the chapter. They will do a matching and match the information correctly. And once they've done that, it'll let them move on. If they do it incorrectly, it will not let them move on. Then the final knowledge check is the final information, and it is another matching. At the elementary level, you don't want to give them long and drawn out knowledge checks. You just want to make sure they got the gist of the information. So if it's correct, it'll let them move to the certificate. If it's not correct, it'll stay on that page until they match it correctly. Then the final slide is their certificate saying, congratulations, they have successfully completed week 1 of the module for distance learning of social studies. So I will provide this module on Canvas, which is the LMS that our district uses for e-learning courses, and students will be able to access the course on Canvas. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope that you can give me some feedback to help me modify some last-minute themes on my module. Thank you so much.